Hello and welcome to BlueMaxima's Top 100 Vita Games 2018 Addendum. You might wonder why I did an addendum and not a whole new Top 100 Games video. Well, my Top 100 Vita Games video took way too damn long to make originally, and remaking that video would push a few games that don't deserve to get buried into being buried. So I've decided to put out this addendum, which basically means, well, this has made the top 100 if I made it today, but came out after I did the original video. So please, enjoy another 20 games that should be on your radar. A certain magical Virtualon. A crossover between two franchises you never think would be together actually turned out pretty good, thanks to being built on a decade-old Sega fighting robot franchise. Great fighting mechanics that require a lot of forward thinking adds a massive skill ceiling, and there's lots of variety between the robots, with balancing to encourage aggressiveness, keeping fights fast and active. Easily recommended for Gundam Extreme Versus fans. Cursed Castilla. What Shovel Knight did for Castlevania, Cursed Castilla does for Ghosts and Goblins. While it lacks the inhuman level of polish and overall presentation that Shovel Knight has, it's got it where it matters most, the gameplay, and it's still a great throwback to the source material, and it's hard as nails to boot. If you like your retro, you should have hopped in already. Daisen Ryaku Exceed 2. I felt bad about not including this on the top 100 proper, so it goes in here and now. Daisen Ryaku is a super long-running, large-scale military strategy series, and Exceed 2 has the best combination of user-friendliness, thanks to the previous game being in English, while still maintaining a huge roster of units and deep strategy. There's a lot of downsides, like terrible music, relatively slow AI, and a very slow pace, but otherwise you won't find anything else like it on Vita. Deadbolt. Take the one-hit kill methodology of Hotline Miami and put it in a side-scroller and you're halfway there. Its atmosphere is delightfully dark and broody, and combined with the high-intensity combat, it makes for a bloody blasting good time, and it definitely matches Hotline Miami on the difficulty. I promise you one thing, it's great for the masochist in you. Fez. A lot of people said they felt this was missing from the original list, and I agree enough to stick it in the addendum. As long as you don't mind Phil Fish, Fez is a great puzzle platformer with an amazing implementation of a world-twisting mechanic. Sprinkle a lovely presentation on top, and it's easy to see why Fez is considered an indie classic. Iconoclasts. As much as it doesn't stray from your classic Metroidvania formula, the neat ideas, great presentation, and heavily polished gameplay make Iconoclasts a lot of fun to give a playthrough, and it's 100% solid as a Vita port. Nothing wrong with just a standard good game. Itadaki Street, Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy 30th Anniversary. The only proper board game on this addendum, or even the original list proper. It's basically Monopoly, but with proper rules and actual balance, with room for actual strategy, and ridiculous money-making tactics that make each game really last until the end. Great fun if you can avoid chucking your Vita across the room. Kung Fury Street Rage. One Finger Death Punch with the Kung Fury theme sounds like a great idea, and while it doesn't quite live up to the concept, the different characters create some neat variety, and the overall theme carries it home. For a cheap game, it's a great way to spend 5 minutes. Lichtspear. Das ist good spear throwing, mein Leben. It's super satisfying to land a good shot with this thing, and the high difficulty keeps the relatively simple action completely intense throughout. If you like your arcade defense style games, this is great. Papers, Please. The communist paperwork parody simulator received a fantastic port to the Vita with some amazing touchscreen control and perfect performance. If you haven't played one of the best indie titles to make checking documents fun, hop to it. Rabi Ribi. Bullet hell crossed with platforming Metroidvania, blended together in a very natural way. A huge skill ceiling and great difficulty options really round it out, and as cute as a button to boot. Heavily recommended if you're looking for something that feels fresh. Rogue Aces. a 2D dogfighting arcade game with great action and tons of explosions. Multiple thoroughly different modes and procedurally generated levels help extend the playtime. Good for a 5-minute score attack or a 2-hour campaign. Son of Scoregasm. It doesn't beat out Geometry Wars 3 on breadth or depth, but the overall difficulty curve, clever level design, and overall polish of the twin-stick shooting still makes it a great time. It's well worth the pickup. SteamWorld Dig 2. Now this is what a sequel should be. SteamWorld Dig 2 improves on its predecessor significantly, and by handcrafting the levels, it makes enough of a difference to the experience to be its own beast without outright outdating its predecessor. Highly recommended to fans and newcomers. Super Hydora. What Cursed Castilla did for Ghosts and Goblins, Super Hydora did for classic scrolling shooters. It's not as content-rich as Darius Burst, but has a thoroughly different feel, and is still a great tribute to the source material, difficulty included. Well recommended. Undernight Inbirth EXE Latest. It feels like a BlazBlue game in more ways than one. Fancy anime presentations, stupidly in-depth fighting system, and extensive tutorials all get big thumbs up, although I'd like a proper secondary mode. Still recommended either way for fighting fans. Utaware Ramono Duology. A fantastic story-driven strategy duology, with deep and lovable characters, amazing art and voice acting, and great gameplay with really hard post-games if you want a real challenge. Absolute must-plays, up on about the same level as Steins Gate. Vostok Inc. A great capitalism parody theme is backed up by surprisingly enjoyable shooting, number crunching, and money management. Thanks to a patch on the Vita version, it's a lot more playable than it was on launch. Perfect for people who love watching big numbers get bigger. Yomawari Midnight Shadows. It's a bit harder and not too different from its prequel, but it's still got the same depressing theme, creepy atmosphere, and adventure horror gameplay blend. So if you want more Yomawari, you know exactly where to look. Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana. A hell of an upgrade over Memories of Celcetta's gameplay, and it manages to look and sound great. Combined with the new translation, there's no reason not to give Ys 8 a spin, except if you want the other platform's extra content. And there's 20 more games for you. If you want the other 100, I'll leave a link in the description. I'll probably do another video like this one soon enough when there's enough games out to justify a second addendum, but for now, I'll see you all next time.